We're good? I apologize, it is 6:02, so we are 2 minutes past the 6 o'clock hour, of which I need to call the Village of Terrace Park Council meeting of November 6, 2024 to order. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice
for all.
Ms. Lyons, would you please call the roll?
Caskey,
Here.
Ingebrigtsen,
Here.
Lehman,
Here.
Lemay, Lindell,
Here.
Sharp.
Here.
Thank you. I did get a call last minute from Mr. Lemay, who had informed us that he was not going to be able to make it. So I said, that is a fairly good agenda for which the chairman of the Finance Committee can miss. So, into approval of the meeting minutes from October 8.
Motion to approve?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Any residents who address council, please come to the podium, give us your name, address, and tell us what it is you want us to hear. Seeing none, I am going to respectfully request, since you are going to get some type of credit for some type of academic exercise, that each of you come to the podium, tell us just your name, and at least one person describe the class that you're here for. But you all have to come up and tell us who you are.
Leadership, right there.
There it is.
There you go.
I'm Caroline Doherty, and I'm here for my AP Government project. We're supposed to be getting involved in the politics in our community, so I came to our council meeting to see what topics are going to be discussed.
Great. And are you all seniors? All right, and do you have any postgraduate plans?
I'm planning to attend Miami University and study nursing.
Congratulations. Thank you. Who is next? We're not going to sign off on the credit. I'm not, if you don't get up, I'm going to say you weren't here, so you're not going to get credit.
I'm Vivian Moore. I'm also here for my AP Government class. What she said.
And do you have any postgraduate plans?
I hope to attend a four-year university and study marketing.
Great.
Excellent. The daughter of
Hello, I'm Shorties. I'm Lorelai Turan. I'm a senior. I'm here for my AP Government Civic Engagement Project. And after high school, I'd like to attend a college and study psychology and history.
Great.
I'm Janie Neville, and I'm also here for AP Gov, my civic engagement project. And then after high school, I plan to attend college, probably studying art education.
Great.
I'm Soren Ulrich, and I'm also here for government class. And after graduation, I want to attend a four-year university to study neuroscience.
Excellent.
My name is Will Stevens. I'm also here for an AP Government project. After high school, I want to attend a four-year university and study political science.
Great.
Hi, I'm Claire Kessler, and I'm also here for my government class for my civic engagement project. And after high school, I plan to go to college and study biochemistry.
I'm Eva Lowry, and I'm here for AP Government for our Civic Engagement Project, and I plan to attend a four-year university to study finance.
Great. Well, welcome. I think I've now become that guy. Gosh, I remember when a couple of them were born.
Great job.
Thank you. We'll make the best use of your time here. Do you have any questions for us that you need to have answered, or all you have to do is be here? No, stare at them. Oh, yes, please come up to the podium. So we're broadcast worldwide.
What was the October 8th thing you all voted aye for at the beginning?
We are required to keep minutes of our meetings. Minutes are just written summary of the goings-on at the last meeting, and so we approved those meeting minutes.
They
Yeah.
can have access to them once, right?
Yeah, would you like, if you guys would like to have copies of those, we're happy to get them for you, or they're on the website.
After today, they'll be on the website.
Yeah, you can probably go back and get years' worth of minutes.
Can.
Decades worth of minutes.
Any other questions, thoughts? All right, maybe one of you guys are gonna sit up here one day. Mayor's report, Halloween was great. It was held on the 31st, and you know what, it worked. It was great. The weather was fairly cooperative, so I want to thank everybody for being on their best behavior and for all the ghouls and goblins that look so great. I don't have much more of a report other than what I think is one of the more important reports that I have given in my almost 9 years as mayor. Some of you may or may not have known, heard that Chief Dronsfeld had a medical issue. I received a text from his wife, and I know Chief Maggard is close to the situation. He's doing better, but that we need to give him time to heal, and everyone else. So I took it upon myself to, with consulting Jerry and consulting Lauren, we need to have a chief in place, John, and I'll stress temporarily. I thought it was in the village's best interest and the residents' best interest for the time being to ask John Maggart to step in as interim fire chief. John has a tremendous amount on his plate. He gives more time than time that he has, and I am very mindful of that, but I think under the circumstances, all things considered, he's the right temporary fire chief, and he has agreed to do it with, I think, the condition that it be temporary. And so we've discussed this, and I've not had a chance to talk to Chief Dronsfeld, and I don't expect to for some time. And so until we have that conversation to figure out what the future holds, if anything at all, he's going to be there. But once we get a better idea, I have assured him that Lauren, me, Jerry, and everybody else will move quickly to either do nothing, because Chief Dronsfeld will be ready to go, or take whatever measures we have to make sure that obviously there's a seamless, there is no gap in safety or perceived safety as it relates to the fire department. So John, truly, on behalf of the village, you can't do any more, but I just asked you to do something more, and thank you very, very much. I'm not exactly sure of the procedures. If you read the code, it is the appointment and the consent of council. I think that, Chief Lawyer, we should probably take a voice vote.
Yeah, you could do a motion. Council could entertain a motion to consent to that interim appointment.
And we can do that as an oral motion?
Yep.
Why don't we do that at the public safety aspect of this, if that makes sense? I just think that we need to do it right. And again, John, thank you, and I'll abide by your wishes, but thank you for stepping up. That is the end of the mayor's report. Chief Fiscal Officer, Mrs. Lyons.
Yes, we received a letter from the Hamilton County Auditor that they are returning to each entity in Hamilton County an assessment, part of the auditor's real estate assessment fund to local governments, which in turn, for our portion of that fund is going to be $18,578.04. So that should be deposited into our account tomorrow. And
Which
then
means that
can-
Jerry has not spent it yet, okay, which is good.
Yes, after that.
I didn't hear it.
What?
I didn't hear it. More money.
The 18,000 bucks we're getting from the auditor's office.
It's already gone.
No, but that's great news, and that happens just about every year?
No, it does not. I think this is every 6 years. It's a rotating thing,
That's great.
that they reassess what they've taken.
Thank you, Hamilton County Auditor. Anything further to report?
No more.
That's a lot, that's 18,000
Big money.
reports. Solicitor Jeff Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess since we have a relatively light agenda and we have some folks here interested in civic engagement, I thought we could just have like a nice pro and con discussion about statutory forms of municipal government.
I think it'd be,
Let's go.
Absent that, I have nothing to report.
as long as we throw in there the whole ability to alter from the statutory form and charter, that would be even better.
That's right.
Right, okay. Sorry, guys, you're not gonna get it. That's it?
That's all I have.
Thank you. Clerk of Council, Mrs. Lyons, once again.
No report, thank you.
EMS Chief, John Maggart.
Thank you, Mayor. The good news I have to report is we will have a new EMT recruit class starting, I believe the date is January 21st. And so far, resulting from no better way to put it than a plea on the TP listserv, I have 8 people currently that have committed to taking the class, and I have 3 or 4 more on the fence. They're just trying to decide if they can work it into their schedules. As you know, the initial training takes a huge slug of time, so that's where we are. Obviously, normally Steve is sitting here with us, and we're staying in touch with the family, trying to stay current without being imposing on them, but Jen, his wife, is keeping us well informed about his progress. He seems stable at this point, which is best we can hope for. So we wish them well. Otherwise, I don't have anything else on the fireside, but I do appreciate your approval of a little change in role for me, and I'll do the best I can.
If there's any time that requires a calming presence, you're certainly that person, so.
Well, thank you.
Police Chief and Village Administrator, Gerald Hayhoe.
I didn't do this because before, but this is the, I had a meeting with Duke last month on the 17th, and this is the proposed phases of the gas replacement. And Mr. Ryan also put it on our website. So you can see this is broken up into 4 phases. And
oh wow, they're doing a lot more than that.
they're talking about doing the best they can with this kind of schedule, but I know that it's going to remain flexible because they don't want to do, phase 4 is around school, and just depending on the timing and the weather, they're going to want to do that when school's not in session. They don't want to have the construction going on at, when kids are in school. So it's scheduled to start in January, and it's going to be a mess for a little bit. So, for the most part, they're going to be able to bore.
So you're talking about like page 4 would not happen until after school is out.
Yes, that's going to be the goal. So that might make it phase 2. That might make it phase 3.
Depending on when they start.
Yes. Phase 1, I think they're going to be able to get they're going to know more. They'll get their feet wet, they'll know more what the construction project's going to entail.
So they're gonna do the work around the school when school's out,
Yes.
wherever they are in the schedule. Are there any type of estimated timeframes for each phase? I mean, the print's in like .1, so I'm struggling to see it.
Well, you can go online, like I said.
It doesn't say that. It doesn't say, it's just latitude and longitude.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't know, it's like estimated to be January 15th to
Nope, it
February
doesn't say
15th.
that.
No, and they're not going to know until they get into it.
And you think they're gonna bore most of this stuff?
As much as they can, yes. They think they can because, we're in rock.
And that's better than we thought it would be. We thought they were
Yes.
gonna open trench it, right?
There's going to be places where they're going to have to go, they're going to have to go underneath the railroad or the bike trail.
Oh.
At one point to connect where, at Denison and to the other side by the post office and stuff. I know that. So, and I think they're going to get a better picture of what it's gonna take. Plus, I think, again, I know the cooperation of the residents is gonna be huge, because once they establish the gas lines, they won't let the residents light the pilot lights on their own. They will have to have their representative do it. And again, we'll offer this, the police department, if anybody doesn't feel comfortable with that happening, we'll be glad to go with them. And so escort them into someone's house.
Right.
I mean,
So-
when it's all done,
Yeah, they're gonna,
for each house?
yes.
Okay.
You're saying that if somebody doesn't feel comfortable for the Duke person to come into their home,
Yes.
you'll have an officer escort them in?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, but I, also working with Duke, it's not gonna be necessarily a Duke employee per se, it'll be a contractor.
Somebody knows how to do it.
Right, exactly, and we're gonna have a detailed list of who they are. They'll all be checked out. So,
Good.
yeah, no, Duke's making sure that this community is taken care of.
That's a big project, man.
Yes, it is. And they said that this is probably the biggest that they've had. So,
And do we have any guidance? This is like a 3-year project, right?
correct,
Okay. So no guidance on how long a phase?
correct, exactly. Depending on weather, depending on what obstacles they run into, you know, if it goes smoothly, you know, it might be a phase and a half in a year, or something like that.
Phase 4 is that's an awful big
Phase
project.
4 looks-
That's almost every other street, it's every street in the village.
Yeah.
Except, well, this is cool, thank you so much.
And I will, like I said, I'll keep you informed as we go along. Everything will be on code red that people need to know. Take a look at the website. You know, Mrs. Lyon puts it up as soon as I get it. It pretty much goes on there. So that's the end of my report.
So we can pretty much be assured that it's gonna come up on TP list as soon as it starts happening, when people say, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, is it gonna be an article in the Village News
It'll
or
go on
something?
Code Red.
It'll go on code red.
And it's already been in
But
Village
like, how many
Views.
people aren't in Code Red? That, I mean, it's just like every time, they're still like, are we?
Still wanna move Halloween from the 31st.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they're still gonna do it.
So if you want to put it on there, hey, this is
No,
what
I mean, it's just
learned.
like redirect to the website, yeah, I mean, that's, I've tried to do, but yeah. Okay,
It is it's inevitable, it is what it
Yeah.
is. But
Okay.
you're right. But
Our
we're all
phone-
informed, so if they
no,
reach
the
out to us.
website's great, it's like, I don't know how we get.
And the
how we
phone will
get-
ring here, and Duke's gonna set up a hotline, basically also an answer line. And they're gonna create a website also that will inform folks that have questions that will be linked from ours. So you'll be able to go on terracepark.org, hit a link and go into Duke. So
Will they be doing the door tags for the affected residents?
I'm sure they're gonna have to. They haven't said that.
How long
but
your
yes.
house is gonna, the
Yeah.
gas is gonna be turned off to the house, all
Or
that
you won't
stuff.
be able to drive on your street or whatever?
Yeah, no, they're gonna be as accommodating as they can. I mean, I'm sure that, there's not that many, the traffic's not real heavy during the day. So, I don't expect really streets to be closed or not long stretches of them anyway, I mean, you may have to go around a block if, when that time comes, but I think each day is gonna bring a new situation.
Should be an adventure.
Yes.
Good
By
thing our
year
D-
3, they'll be caught up on it.
Ellen's gonna
Right.
be done. Can you even read this?
Anything
You're
else?
the one with the glasses.
The only, the guys, I think they've made 2 complete passes with the leaf vac, and they've done, I believe, 23 loads. So, I mean, that's huge. Those
No
are-
leaf will be left behind.
That's what we tell them.
Right on.
That's our motto.
Come up to the podium. This is great.
Vivian has a question.
Wow, Vivian Moore.
Yeah. I was just wondering, what's the issue that we're trying to fix with this?
That's a fair point.
I can tell you that the gas lines that were put in before I was born, and that was a long time ago. And so they are made of, I believe, steel. So they're rusting and stuff, and what they're gonna put in is some type of polymer or plastic, basically, or PVC or something, so that they don't rust, so that they'll last for a long, long time.
It's also important to note, though, that the village is not doing this. This is something that Duke has informed us they will be doing in our
This is
village.
Duke's decision, not ours, so.
Right.
But
We're
that's a
just
good
lucky.
question. We just assume that people know what we're talking, I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for the
Well, and I
question.
think it's important for residents to know we're not, you pay for this in your bill, of course, but the village is not spending money to do this.
Will Duke reimburse the village, if at all, if there's any police overtime required?
I'm sure of it.
We'll make it happen.
I'm sure of it.
Awesome.
And the
That's
full
it.
story is on the website.
Yep. All right, thanks. I forgot two things in my remarks. One, I want to congratulate the Marymount School District on a successful levy campaign. I think that, you know, I was out there and they know their numbers better than everybody, so congratulations on a successful levy campaign. And the pancake supper, I think I got something on my door this weekend.
Oh, that's right. Forgot that in my report.
Well, I think I'll remind you.
That
Give us a
will
little
be-
color on the pancake supper.
It will be this Sunday, which I believe is the 10th. I'm actually putting banners together right now to go on the green, if I can get around the tape over there.
Oh, that reminds me, the tree is coming down tomorrow. Oh, it's coming down tomorrow.
We're a little disjointed, but we're gonna get there
right.
eventually.
Maybe we'll wait then.
It was supposed to happen today,
Just cruddy weather.
but the weather had to be done tomorrow.
And I asked
Sorry.
Jerry about that tree, but go ahead. So it's from what, 6?
4:30 to 7:30 PM at St. Thomas Church in the, not sure what they call it, the rectory,
Right.
the huge place, the new part of the church over there. So, may have a couple new menu items this year. We've got a
Oh.
guy in the fire department who is a chef, and he has a bunch of ideas. So, we'll see.
Sorry to miss
But-
Lure us in. Wow.
For all of you high schoolers out there.
They're brilliant before.
Not been to the pancake supper, and I'm kind of looking at some of the male high school members who tend to eat ridiculous amounts of food. It is a great way to get a ton of food for how much? Is it? It's cheap. I mean, it's really cheap.
Well, I'm trying to remember, $4 and $6, I think, for a ticket. It's our major fundraiser for the year. So
It's great. Stop by.
take donations too.
Great, awesome. And so on the tree, I did, I asked the question, are you sure it has to come down? And his response was, we wouldn't be paying money for it to come down if it wasn't unsafe, and we had a pro take a look at it.
Oh, several. And in the leader that came out exposed, there's a split right down the center of that tree. And so that's why it's been taped off. And tomorrow, the danger will be, I plan on getting a portion of it, like like an 8-inch from the largest part of the trunk for some type of memorial. So I'll make sure that we
How
save
old,
that.
do we know how old that tree is?
We're gonna
It's
find
not
out
the ring.
tomorrow.
We'll count the ring tomorrow. Yeah, well, that sounds like a great public works project. Great.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
huge. It's ginormous.
Any member of council outside their committee? Hearing none. Planning and zoning, Mr. Yaski.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. I unfortunately do not have a report this evening.
I thought the statistics that were sent by,
Would you like me to read those
I think they're
statistics?
kind of
okay,
interesting.
well, you've asked if you want to
Please
have some
do so.
fun facts.
the World Wide Web wants to know.
So, starting in 2020, the first kind of 2020, 2021, 2022, there were 124 zoning permit applications, whereas there were 19 of those went to variance. It's about 15%. And 2021 was a big year in terms of variance applications. It was 11. That was the highest number. But since then, 2022 variance applications were 6, and then 2023 were 0, and 2024 so far is 0 as well. So, which is interesting. So the number of zoning applications continue to be up, but variances are down. So.
I don't know, I wonder what you attribute that to, probably many different things. Some of which might be because I think we cleaned up our zoning code and
We did.
took out.
Didn't we,
Yeah, pardon?
We changed over our process, like whether it was a person in the
Great
village or outside the village?
I was
No,
anticipating questions.
Because a variance would be required, they're pretty objective. You know, if it has to be 15 feet and it's gonna be 14 feet, then you need a variance, but is there a question?
Yeah, what's zoning?
Great question.
I think John Gasky would be uniquely qualified to answer that question.
So we have zoning we have a set of rules and regulations that kind of dictate how we do things or how we place buildings in the village, specifically houses in this case. And many of the homeowners will come to the village with a improvement on their house, and they have to make application for that. If they're putting in a new fence, if they're putting in a new deck, or if they're extending their property in any which way, they come to the village with an application. Now, sometimes that application is a little bit outside the norm, which may cause a variance. And in that case, there's a group of individuals called the Board of Zoning Appeals that will kind of be a hearing for that particular variance, and we'll have a discussion about it. And they're the regulation or ruling body that makes that variance either pass or come back with more information, or in some cases fail. So.
What would be like a fail example? Like, what would you not allow?
God, oh my gosh.
If you wanted to
great
build your
question.
house, if you have 100-foot wide property, if this is your lot, and you wanted to build a house that was 1 foot from here, the property line, 1 foot from here, 1 foot from the front, and 1 foot from the back, that probably doesn't have much chance of success.
Okay.
Like that's an extreme.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or a 130-foot tall house.
Or here's another wonderful example, give you a real life example. There was one individual that wanted to build a tree house taller than their existing house. Can't do that. We have regulations in the zoning codes that say that structure has to be the same size as their garage, I believe.
No taller than.
No taller, thank you, Regina.
Okay.
So there's a kind of example. That's another great example, but that's a better example probably. But more examples are fun.
Thank you.
Great question.
A+ for the 2 questions.
Look at you.
Another question.
Thank you for.
Another question?
We have another
Let's
question.
go. Now you get another
Talk.
plus.
So when you're giving the statistics, I think you said it was 6 variance applications a couple years ago.
Yes, there were 6 in 2022.
What do you think causes like more applications to come in that are of the variance type, like in a given year, versus there's been 0 the last couple of years?
That's a great question. I don't know if there is what causes, I think, depending on the property.
I suspect there are probably a few factors that work together. One is, over the last few years, the council has made some changes to those zoning rules. And because you've changed some of the rules, people might not need a variance. You know, if you had stayed with the old rules, they might need a variance from the rules, but we've changed the rules, so maybe they don't need a variance anymore. That's part of how zoning works, is you see how your community is growing and how it's developing, and you can decide the rules that we had maybe 50 years ago don't really make sense for the way people are building houses and decks and patios today. So you change the rules, so they might not need a variance anymore. And part of it also is you don't need a variance unless you're doing something. And I mean, we went through some years where we had a lot of people building decks and additions and all kind of stuff, and sometimes it's just a combination of the rules are a little easier now, and people just aren't doing as many projects anymore.
Thank you.
That's fair.
But it is hard to say.
It is hard. That's a great example, though.
Every year we have seniors that come in here. This is the first year no one's ever. Never once.
Love it.
I love it.
A+.
Any other questions before we move on to the, if you think of something, just throw up the hand.
You know, Mr. Lindell will tell you all about streets if you're interested.
Finance, Mr. LeMay is not here. Mrs. Lyons, do you have anything, or Jerry, do you have anything you would want to report on the money side?
Not this month.
There we go. Buildings and grounds, Mrs. Sharp.
I have no buildings and ground report, but I do want to say that Election Day was yesterday, and Terrace Park had a great showing.
Awesome.
It's very important to vote. Not every country in the world gets that option, and so it's very important to do that. And we had over 80% of the members of the village, registered voters voted.
80%, I was.
Over 80%.
We were talking about, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Was that in-person voting or just?
No, that's a
out?
combination of early absentee and in-person. But in person, what did we have, John? John and I both worked the polls.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say, thank you
we
for
had
thank you for your
over
service.
900 individuals
9:59, we didn't quite make 9:60.
9:59
here
here.
that voted.
I mean, I was here at 7 o'clock and I was a slacker. There was like 48 people before.
It was a busy day, so.
Right, that's awesome. Thank you guys for your service.
Yeah.
on that. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
End of my report.
Remember, you can't complain if you don't vote.
It's always nice to see friendly faces that you know at the polls too. That's always nice, so, and very welcoming. So thank you both.
Rules
for
and
that.
law, Mrs. Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report.
Efficient. Public Works, Mr. Lindell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No report. And no cool stats either, so.
No, 85% of all stats are made up, right?
There you go.
Which I made
The
those.
50% then, I guess.
100%. Public Safety, Mrs. Ingebrigtsen.
Yes, so I guess my first order of business will be an oral motion. Do I need to do that as, I'm assuming, as an emergency?
Actually,
Like we
we
would
do it
do-
as a motion. Once there's a voice vote, it's just effective immediately.
Okay, perfect, so, okay. So I would like to introduce an oral motion appointing John Maggard as the interim chief of the Terrace Park Fire Department.
Second?
Do we go through each person?
Sure.
Okay.
Gasky,
Aye.
Ingebrigtsen,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Lindell,
Aye.
Sharp.
Aye.
Passes.
If I had a vote, I would have said aye. But thank you, John.
Thank
It
you.
is-
Thank you.
It is temporary,
Appreciate the vote of confidence.
no doubt about it. Anything else?
Yes, the second item is that during the October meeting, Chief Dronsfeld stated his intention to appoint several new members to the fire department, including 4 promotions from within the department, from one leadership role to another, and 4 new officer appointments. The council is certainly happy to see these appointments being made. However, we have a section of our code relating to the positions within the fire department, and these proposed appointments exceed those numbers. So we had a safety committee meeting on October 29th with Chief Dronsfeld to discuss the proposed appointments, the intention behind the appointments, and whether we thought it made sense to either amend the code or make changes to the proposed appointments that were being made. I think the outcome of that meeting was that the members of the, excuse me, safety committee support the proposed appointments that Chief Dronsfeld would like to make. And so at this point in time, the safety committee will refer the matter to the Rules and Law Committee. So Rules and Law can consider making a change to the section code. And it would be a very small change. The code currently states, for example, that there can be 1 assistant chief, and we would recommend, it would just require a change from 1 to 2. Same thing, it allows for 2 captains, and we would recommend that instead of 2, there'd be 3 captains permitted.
I think that's gotta come.
Yes.
It's gotta come your way.
Yeah, do we need to have a committee meeting about that, or can we just, okay?
I think we should.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
all right.
All right.
That is the end of my report.
Can I ask thank you very much. Can I ask a question that I'm hesitant to ask because I don't know the answer? In light of this temporary appointment, what is the official status of Chief Dronsfeld? Is he, would it make, you see what I'm saying? I don't want there to, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Should it matter?
Is he on leave?
I don't know what it is. I
Because
just,
the rules, well, I don't know. I'm gonna step.
I don't know what the answer, I mean,
I would say at this point, just because of the issue that he has encountered, he is, I'm gonna just use the word incapacitated
Right.
to perform the duties of fire chief. So you've appointed someone to fill that role on an interim basis. That's why we just did it as a motion tonight. And I think that and it's fine, just as it is, like that. We'll continue to monitor the situation, determine what needs to be done, if anything.
Because of the situation, it would be deemed a vacancy, if you will, ish.
Yeah, I mean, the rules are not quite as clear there, but in general, when an office, when you can't perform because you're incapacitated or whatever.
Understood.
Yeah, we would need someone to fulfill that role.
I figured as much, I just wanted to,
Mhm.
cool. Any continued business? Any new business? Any last minute questions? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, awesome.
Awesome.